A familiar sight in the Santa Barbara Channel, the California oil rigs stand as hallmarks to modern industrial achievement. Yet after decades of heavy drilling, the wells are beginning to run dry, and soon, these awesome structures will fade into disuse, cast-offs in our insatiable quest for energy. Weighing up to 20,000 tons and some taller than the Empire State Building, these structures are built to withstand the forces of Mother Nature. Yet underwater, she has not responded violently to these steel intrusions. Vast marine communities have assembled around the steel infrastructures, seeking refuge from the more dangerous open water. Within the next 18 years, it is likely all of California's offshore oil platforms will cease production, making the future of these marine communities uncertain. The rigs will either be removed to ensure no future pollution, or left in place to continue to provide habitat for the myriad creatures that have come to call these oil rigs home. It is a decision weighted by money, liability issues, and fears of a precedent for industrial dumping. But to many, whether the rig should stay or should go is a matter of doing what is best for the life and health of the channel.
I would say by far the biggest concern from an environmental perspective is the health and well-being of the ocean environment.
Linda Kropp is an environmental lawyer at Santa Barbara's Environmental Defense Center and an expert in offshore oil legal issues.
There are ramifications of oil companies not decommissioning their platforms that could cause even further concerns from an environmental point of view.
Linda has been a leading voice against offshore oil development for many years.
Our number one reason for opposing a Rigs to Reef program here is we're concerned about the pollution, and not just the short-term pollution issues, but the long-term pollution. As the platforms corrode over time, as the debris that sits around the platforms is unsettled, you're going to have long-lasting pollution in the ocean environment.
But pollution isn't the only issue. Dr. Milton Love, a University of California researcher and world authority on rockfish,
literally, I wrote the book on rockfish,
has spent the last 8 years studying the communities that have developed on and around the oil rigs.
As a citizen, I view platforms as just great big reefs filled with animals, and if you remove them, you're going to kill millions of animals. And I think that's immoral. I don't think the fact that a mussel larvae settled on a platform and grew up to be a mussel, I don't think that's a capital crime, and they should be killed because of it.
With the extent of future oil rig pollution unknown, coming to a decision will mean combining ethics with the best of our current scientific knowledge.
If there's 100 million animals at a platform, and I don't want to kill the 100 million animals, but it turns out that the platform is just polluting the Southern California bight so that seagulls are turning belly up, I have to weigh the death of a million seagulls against mussels. So I'd have to know kind of the overall influence of platforms before I could make a decision.
The types of pollutants found under platforms raise concerns about environmental impact.
Heavy metals, arsenic, PCBs, cadmium, a whole host of very toxic materials that are lying on the ocean floor now that are not being cleaned up.
For now, many of these chemicals are buried beneath the shifting sands and layers of shells from the upper portions of the rig. But fears over future disturbance have many concerned about the potential for widespread contamination.
Whether it's 50 years or 100 years from now, there could be pollution, there could be corrosion, and I think from our perspective, we feel very strongly that we should follow the precautionary principle. If you don't know what the answer is and you know that there could be a problem, you shouldn't do it until you get the answer.
The way I would read the precautionary principle is, until you're really sure that platforms are negative, however you define negative, you shouldn't really tamper with it.
With the next platforms likely to be decommissioned in just a few years, the battle over dismantling them is heating up.
There will be some residual impacts because there will be some explosives used, but that's a short-term impact. Some marine life will be affected by the removal operations, but when we compare that to 50 years, 100 years of pollution in the environment, to us, there's no question what the right answer is. It's to remove the pollution.
As a citizen, I'm focusing on the very large numbers of animals that are alive today and feeling very uncomfortable about the idea of killing very large numbers of animals that are alive today. It's the thought of just all those animals dying, man. It don't make me happy, is what it comes down to.
In the search for harmony, some compromises must be made. The next few years will dictate whether the rigs remain in place, home to millions of fish, or whether they will disappear, ceasing to threaten the channel. Whatever the outcome, this process of untangling our intrusions into nature will perhaps help us to pause and think twice before making lasting choices which cannot be undone.